Hi all, another video for you. This one I'm going to focus on oil. I'm just going to give you the disclaimer. This is some of my strategies. Once again, it's kind of interesting. In Canada, we're actually limited to the oils that we can buy here. So for me, I end up buying 2050 VR1 from Amazon because it's the cheapest, delivered right to your door, and you can't buy VR1 if it doesn't have French on it. I think if it's not a bilingual label on it, I don't think they can sell it in Canada. It's kind of BS, I know, but anyways. But you can get stuff, you can order stuff through Amazon, and anyways, 2050 VR1 is what the oil that I use. I'm just going to share a bunch of different things I have going on with mine. I'm going to talk about the accumulator, how I use it to pre-lube the oil, or pre-lube the engine before I start every time. I'm going to talk about my Clearview filter. You can see that one actually has it's filtration on the top, and there's a filter on the bottom as well. What else am I going to talk about? I'm also going to run you through the oil pressure safety that I have on my system, and how I have it set up, how it saved me. Before I get started, a funny story. That Clearview filter, I think it was like the first year I had it on, or it was 2017. I think it was 2017, 2018. Anyways, we're at Rocky Mountain Race Week, and somebody comes and gets me and say, I just walked by your car and I heard something fall off. Pardon? Yeah, it's like I hear this ping, ting, ting. I'm like, I don't know this guy. I don't know who he is. But he's telling me something fell off my car, and he's like, I heard it right around here. And so anyways, we poked around for a while, and it turns out that one of these studs had broke, and it actually popped the stud right off. And so I think it was like day one, so you had to pull it apart, drill it out. I think I ended up drilling right through and putting a bolt through to hold it on. Turns out a guy from Clearview Filter was fantastic. He said that they had a bad order of studs from somewhere, and so I sent it back. He tuned it all up and haven't had a problem since. But yeah, it's pretty funny when somebody random walks up to you and is like, yeah, I heard something fall off your car, and there's nobody around the car. So it was really lucky actually that he found it, and it also was lucky that it was one of the exposed, because as you can see on mine, there's only two that are exposed. I have to drop the whole filter to change mine out. But all right, we'll continue on and run you through the rest of this situation. All right, this is what it looks like when the accumulator's charged and primes the engine. So usually it'll start with low oil pressure, flash, and then you'll see it climb up like that, depending on how much pressure is in there. But you can see it's flowing pretty good. And so that's just pushing all the way in, and it'll kind of sustain it for a little while and flood the bearings. And eventually it just slowly decays once there's no pressure left. Works slick. Okay, here's my accumulator. It's mounted in the back by the diff, actually underneath the body. It's got an electrolytic solenoid on it. And that's what I control with the ECU. So I think it's one of those things you can relocate for weight distribution if you want. So another piece of my puzzle is my Clearview filter. If you're not familiar with these, you just actually hit put air in here and it blows the oil down through, and then you can see the screen. I'm going to try to do this one-handed, but we'll see how it works. I don't know how well you'll be able to see here, but you can kind of hear it. You can see it in there moving. And then you can take a light or something. You can see there's a little bit of trash in there. I'm going to pull it off and clean it. That was after 8,000 miles though, so it looks shiny. Hard to see anyways. Easier when you pull it apart, but I will tell you from experience that when you have a problem, you know it. And it's a lot easier than cutting a filter. In fact, on the side of the road, that's what I did. I was having low oil pressure, and quickest way to check is just I actually have an air connection in the trunk. I don't know if I can show that to you or not. Let's see. Ignore the messy trunk. Anyways, I just took a air fitting up to here, and I've got this long cord, and I can plug it in and run it all the way to the front and use it even on the side of the road. All right, so here's the filter. Now, this probably freaks some people out, but it's actually one piece I wanted to talk about, is knowing what normal looks like for you. Like it or not, all motors shed oil or shed something. A bunch of this stuff in here is actually silicone. So, and I will tell you, and probably anybody who's got one of these will tell you that you will know when you have a bad filter. There'd be a big party going on in here. Big party that you don't want any part of. And I think I could probably throw a picture in here of Bill's filter that he has as well, which is a different kind, but you could take it apart. But I'll show you what a party looks like in a filter. He's a lot of glitter and not much fun. This is what a bad day looks like. All right, so here's my oil pressure safety, and essentially anything over 5,000 RPM, if the oil pressure drops below 47, 50-ish, then it will actually cut. It shuts the engine off. And so the reason I have mine set like that is because I know that if the oil pressure's down at 50 pounds at 5,000 RPM, I'm either low on oil or I got a problem. So here's my 850 pass. This yellow line here is oil pressure. And you can see as I scoot along here, it's like 70, 75, even going through the traps. You know, it's 73. So I've had it where I've been a quart low, and it starts to drop off at the top of the track, and it shut me off. And I think that's what you want to happen. So here's the control for the accumulator. So sensor 3 is oil pressure. So if the oil pressure is less than 16 pounds, it activates that green solenoid and dumps the oil into the engine and pre-lubes it or saves it. So that's what you saw with the flashing gauge at the beginning. And then also another additional safety is if the RPM is greater than 5,000, it also opens the solenoid. Typically there's not going to be a need for the oil pressure, but if by chance there's more pressure in the accumulator than there is in the oil in the engine, then it will start letting that pressure go into the motor as well, or the engine as well. So that's just another safety feature. Anything to help keep the lube where it's supposed to be. Also wanted to add, I do use some Lucas with every oil change.
Absolutely awesome. Richard Guido's going to jail.
Also wanted to share that my next event is probably going to be Small Tire Gangster in Texas with my buddy Jimmy Dale and Tony and Tess are also going to be there. I think they'll be racing their white car. And Old Man Garage Bill and family will also be there racing. After watching Tess and getting to know Jimmy Dale, I'm going to drive down there in April and support him. Long day. It'll be fun. Can't wait.